Rights Commission. And we have with us to talk about the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and to explain the Tennessee Human Rights Commission, the Executive Director of the Tennessee Human Rights Commission, Ms. Amber Gooden. And of course, Ms. Gooden, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, to tell you how delighted we are to have you, Ms. Gooden, and to also remind our audience that this is a celebration of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which is to say that we've planned several shows around this very, very important act of 1964. And I think that your agency, the Tennessee Human Rights Commission, in a real sense came out of the activities dealing with that particular act. But before we get into that, Ms. Gooden, let's have you to give our audience some information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important that eventually led you to the executive directorship of the Tennessee Human Rights Commission on the state level. And then we'll talk about some other things dealing with the Tennessee Human Rights Commission and the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Well, thank you. Again, thank you for having me. I am a native Memphian, but actually I was born here in Nashville, Tennessee, back in the early 60s. And grew up in Memphis and attended school there. Actually came here to Fisk University and attended college here for a couple of years. Unfortunately, was here during a time where the school was in a lot of financial trouble, but finished college at Christian Brothers University in Memphis with a degree in economics and finance. And from there found myself working in healthcare and business development. Family-wise along the way, really always was involved and grew up in a family that was very active in the civil rights movement and organization throughout Memphis. My uncle is Benjamin Hooks, who's the executive director of the NAACP, and growing up in that family was always immersed in a number of sit-ins and things like that, and organizations and so forth, in dealing with civil rights. And so as a little girl, I was very much impressed and surrounded by that kind of activity. Never thought that necessarily that being a little girl that I would grow up to become the executive director of a civil rights organization.